Hello, in this video we are going to explain the methods. We have the deeper look and we will play with a lot of concept. It's actually really a little bit of difficult video, probably the most difficult one in this term. And we will be talking about methods, how to call them, how to have it outside, the main function. We will explain a little bit how to pass values to those methods, how to create our own methods, how to actually we can have a lower version of those methods. We will call about numerations to option, name parameters. We will cover a lot, but hopefully it will help us a little bit to understand the big picture, a little more complex program. Actually, it's going to pay attention a little bit. This video is really important because it will give you the fundamentals for the final project that we will require in the term. So we are going to build some kind of menu guided program where we need to give some kind of answers, selecting something in the menu, and then do specific things in our program, and that way we can call it and then show it on the screen. Okay, let's get into it. So let's start actually with a method. What is a method? Method is actually like a kind of function that we call and we execute something specific. What is the main one that we always have been playing around? Is precisely that one, main. The main function is the one that we always execute and run in our system, in our programs. So let's actually create .NET new console and let's call methods. And let's open it. So we have our methods programs now created and open it. Let's give yes to remove that. And let me minimize that. Let me open my terminal. Perfect. We are good. You know what? Forget about this. It's only for my case. I actually use tab indentation and I like to have pretty much everything like this. So this part you can skip it. It's actually just for we are going to write a lot of code, and this is pretty much how I like it to write it. Have an indentation of 2 and the mustache or the curly brackets actually after where we call in those. So this is how I roll precisely. Okay, so what is a method? This is a method. That's the main one that we always execute. So C# or .NET, what we're going to do is always look for the main method and execute whatever is inside. To create another method exactly the same, let's copy this over, let's paste it here and welcome. Welcome to the program. We have something like this. We have the main method and the welcome method. If we execute .NET run, we only will see the main hello world. This is never get executed because never been called. .NET what we'll know is actually just to run whenever it's called main. In order to run this specific method, we need just to call it and to execute it. So the method is called welcome. So we just put welcome, open and close parentheses. Oh yeah, we need to remove this part. Boom. Perfect. We execute again. Hello world and welcome to the program. This is just get executed because I call it inside my main. So this is my main, I will not like to say loop, but it's the main execution flow. It's where a specific program we enter and we go line by line and do whatever we specify that need to be done in this particular case. So we are now printing the welcome program until we actually call it. And this is a method, and this is an empty method, a method that is not returning anything precisely, and is not accepting any kind of value inside. This is really important. So it's a void method. So we can actually say it. We can remove this, and we can have a more modular program and say, okay, the first thing I want you is to print my welcome, and let's say the welcome a little bit more complex. Let's do a console dot writeLine, and let's just pimp it up a little bit. Put some stars in there. And let's do a couple more. Over here, let's add one star here, one star here, and then let's put this as simplified as possible, put it over here. So we have a little square with the welcome program in there. Perfect, let's add a couple more, so we can actually separate this, and a couple more. Yeah, perfect, I believe look pretty cool. Excellent. So let's say welcome to the program. Let's call this methods. And let's print a menu. So let's say the welcome, and let's say main menu. Print main menu, let's call it like that. And the print main menu, actually, let's execute it over here. And let's create another. Really important, I'm still inside my class. I'm now inside that. It will actually put in those. So let's create another one, static, and void, print main menu. It will not accept anything. Let's say it console.writeLine. Let's jump a couple of lines from the title and put it there. Please select an option. And for now, let's just put one option. It's called max number. Let's call it like that. Okay, let's save it, let's execute, and we will see the welcome message and then the menu. The menu right now just have one element. Let's remove one of these because it looks like there is like too much. I save and execute. Perfect, it's a little bit better. Okay, let's talk about the callback of the trace tag that we're seeing over here. What is going to do .NET is going to go inside the main. We already covered that. Main will execute welcome. So we are going to be deeper in welcome. So the stack trace for the program is okay. I have executed main. Main is calling welcome, so I have main in waiting form, and now I'm inside welcome. I will do what welcome told me to do, and then I call and print the main menu. So I'm jumping from the welcome to the main menu. I do that. When I finish it, I go back. Because there is nothing else to do in the welcome, I go back again. And because there is nothing to do in the main, I just get exit the program. And it wants to do it. So we're going deeper method by method, and then the straight-back we are going. So for example, console.writeLine, let's say this is printed after the menu. we execute, and yeah, we see the menu, and then we see this. So from welcome, we execute three lines. Over here, we jump and we leave this in standby until we did everything that is inside here. And when we go back, we continue executing. That way, this is printed after the menu because we are calling like that. You just to understand a little bit how deeper you can go and how the movement of the execution it can move it between one method to another. It's really simple to understand, but we just need to get to idea where we are located in our programs. If we are not located in something specific, is what actually call it. Again, remember those are void methods. That means that they are not returning anything at all. Let's delete this one. So let's actually remove this train main menu and just execute main menu. Instead of doing a void, let's do an integer. That means that we can do integer user, let's say user menu equal main menu, and we will return something. For now, let's return a 0. Let's return the 1 because it's the number that we needed. What we want to do, this is going to get the, we'll call a method. That method will execute something and will return a specific value. In this case, user menu, we have the value 1 because the number that we are sending. Well, this is a dummy method. We actually need and make a little bit more smarter somehow. So let's actually do integer. Oh, let's do a string. No, let's do an integer. Integer selection equal console dot readline. But of course, because this is a by default string, we need to do integer parse, and then let's create a constant up here. Constant, I believe I can do it like that. Call a constant integer menu size equal to 1. So what is this? Menu size is an integer. We specify a specific number there, and then we say that actually it's going to be a constant. When we specify a constant, that means that this value can never change over time in our execution. I'm doing this because I just doing let's do an if selection is bigger than 0, and remember the logical operation, selection is less equal to menu size. If that happens, we just need to return selection. Okay, we have an issue here. We said no all code paths return something, because what happens when we put something that is invalid, this will not work. So let's actually do a while, and let's do something really cool. And all this is going to be inside my while. Perfect. What we're doing here is really interesting. So we have a while true. While true, that means it's going to run always. But until we actually break that loop. And we break it by two ways. We can break it with the break method. If you want to continue doing the same method that we are, or we can break it with the return statement, where this is another method that was called by somebody else, like this. Let me actually show you how this look like. And I believe I can show you over here. So let's go to my method folders. So I'm doing here in my console because it's bigger and I can show you actually what it does. So in my method I can do the .NET run. So please select an option. If I select 0, I give me a select an option. I select 3, 5, 2, C. Well, it will break it, right? So we need to handle that a better way. Let's continue. So 2, 3, everything is failed. All the numbers fails. And it will just get me prompted until you get a specific option. If I select 1, I get out because I doesn't move it anywhere. So we need to get that in mind, like how to handle these kind of options. So in this way, we're saying, okay, meanwhile, my selection is valid. Somehow, we said that we have some exception. We will not cover those exceptions in this code, but just to understand a little bit, we are going to return the selection. Because for now, we are just moving with that number, and we will increase it later. Okay, so we have the menu, perfect. We have the user menu, and then we can call it, let's create a max number. So one cool thing about Visual Studio Code is if we hover over this line, we see the minus bracket. If we select it, we are just like removing section of the code, but the code is actually there. We see those little dots, and you can see the jump of the line. That means the code is there, just I'm hiding it from my view in order not to block me when I'm doing something else. So for now, my main menu is how I like it. I will just reduce it. Remember, you still need to copy this for the video lab, pause the video here, copy the code that you need to code, and continue. Okay, so let's see. So we know that the main menu actually does the validation from the integers and just return my user menu when whatever information is there. So let's do something really quick. Console.writeLine, and let's do the string interpolation, user menu. See, you selected. We print that just to verify that the user menu have the value that we wanted. So this is still continue, perfect. If I do 1, you selected 1. Okay, we know that the assignment is done properly as we need it. So we can do a little switch here. So let's do a switch and user menu. Let's see, case 1, we do maximum. I'm taking this from the book, actually, this section. Maximum. And we break it. The default is going to be like that. Okay, maximum doesn't exist, so let's create it. So let's create maximum, and let's actually go from here. And let's do static void maximum. And I'm not taking any there. Perfect. So if we choose case 1, we move to maximum. And let's do some understanding how we can do a home to pass. So also I'm calling as maximum with capital M just to naming convention, and it will call other methods a little bit with Pascal case. That's a little bit different. So for the maximum, what I want to do, let's actually in your books, I believe that is in the sections, well, in the section 7.3 you will see the different methods to accept different values, but we're going to create our own one that is actually in section 74 with multiple parameters. So we're going to call say console.writeLine, and what we're going to do indeed is get the maximum number of a series of numbers. Really simple. And we can do provide me with the first number, I will call just integers for now, so just to keep it simple. Integer, integer first equal integer dot parse my console dot readline. Yeah, and readline is a function. Perfect. On method, and then we can actually copy this over and probably with the second number and call it second. So this is really simple, just getting like a title. Let's give it like an extra space in there, and providing the first number, we give the first number, provide the second number, we provide the second number, and then we need to see actually who is bigger, who is the maximum number, one or the other. And we can do the, you know what, let's do as the book says, let's do 3 numbers, third and third. Okay. So for this, we will call get max integer max number is going to be get max number. This is a method that we will create, and we will send in first, second, and third. Okay. And then so console.writeLine, and let's do a string interpolation. Then max number is max number. Now this is an integer, this is a method that doesn't exist. Let's actually create it. So outside your method maximum, let's create this specific one, and it's going to be a static integer because we're expecting an integer called get max number, that we will get an integer x, an integer y, and an integer z. It's getting 3 different numbers. That's it. And we will return something, right? Let's return 0 for now, just to remove those errors. So what we need to do is actually how the book handle it. Let's actually keep that, and then let's make a little bit sharper and sharper for about this specific method. Let's actually execute first to see that we are still doing what it's supposed to do. The program again in, give the welcome message, get out the main menu. When we select one, we're supposed to get the maximum number. We give 3 different numbers, and we should print 0. Right? This is the execution that we have. So we select, okay, we need the max number, get the maximum number of series of numbers. We provide 2, 4, and 7. The max number is 0. Perfect. It's doing what we have. Let's complete the program. We know that everything is running and everything is working as it's supposed to. Cool. So let's actually say it here. So integer max number equal X. You will say, wait, I have max number declared over here. Why I can declare over here? I can declare over here because the scope is different, and it's something really important. Whenever it's declared inside this method, it stays in the method. So this max number, it cannot be accessed outside. So I can actually do the same name in this variable, and doesn't matter because there's not going to be interpolation. In this, somehow we declare it over here. I know that I have some constraints. If I do that means that can be accessible through all our methods. In this case, I'm just inside one specific one. That means it can be only accessed where it's referenced. So we can have the same name and we will not collide because it's inside the scope. This is in a different scope, and it's something really, really important. So it's something to understanding that this max number is nothing to do with this max number. There are 2 different variables in 2 different methods. That's it. Okay. So how the book displays it, we declared, okay, the max number by default is going to be the first one, and then we do an if statement that if j is bigger than the max number, we actually do like this. Max number is going to change to y, and then you do another if statement, and actually what it does is if c is bigger than max number, so it do max number equals c, and just return. Oh well, I already have the return, sorry. Let's remove this, and we actually return the max number. Perfect. If we execute this, we actually work. So let's go to max number. So the first number is going to be 5, the second is going to be 3, and the last one is going to be 8. The max number should be 8. Perfect. We'll run again. Select one from the menu, and we'll give you 1, 2, 1. It should provide the number 2. Perfect. That means that the program is working and is doing what it's supposed to do. But we can simplify this a little bit. Remember when we have the if statement? The if statement can be changed through one line if with the question mark and the double colon. So let's copy this, let's leave it like that, and let's create another one, max num. This is like the same but simplify it somehow. And let's save. We can say something like this. Max number is going to be equal, and let's compare. So we can enter, we can do a tab, and we check x bigger than y. If that is true, or if that is false. If that is true, it's going to be x. So, and that's false, we're going to execute something else. So let's actually do it right here. And x is bigger than c. So we're saying is x is bigger than y and x is bigger than c. We just assign x to the max number. If not, we need to do this validation with y. If y is bigger than x and y is bigger than c, so we are doing like a nested if statement here. That means that we're returning y. If both of them fail, that means that c is the bigger number. And we need to finish with a semicolon. You will say, what's happening here? Where is all my letters? Well, this is doing exactly this in a different way. Remember, using the operational conditioning, and we have the statements. If this is true, do whatever is in the question mark. If not, do whatever is in the double colon. And because in the double colon we have another statement, we can actually execute another one. And I keep in the indentation like this to understand what is son of what. So this execution belongs to this one and this one, and this execution over here is do the validation through here. That's very much what is happening. And actually let me do it like this to understanding what is happening. Pretty cool, right? Let's verify if it works. Let's actually copy this and let's do the same. You know what? We can let's remove the section. And this one, we can actually execute over here. Like, just give me the number and print it. And that's going to be cool. So the first one is going to call the max number, and the second one is going to call the max num. Really similar name, pretty much the same functionality, a little bit different approach. I just want to show you that. And I like this approach because it actually looks a lot different. But if you see the logic is pretty much the same, just using another functionality that HR can bring us to us. So it doesn't matter if we select 1, 2, 3, both of them will give you 3. If do the same validation, if we do select 1 and then we do 9, 5, 3, both of them select 9. So that means it's actually doing what it's supposed to do. Pretty cool, right? Well, let me tell you that it's a little bit more simplified if you want to see it like that to understand it. So let's actually copy this one and let's call it get max. That's it. And instead of assigning something to a specific variable, we're just returning that validation. Boom. We don't need to do that if we don't want to. What I'm saying is it's a simplified way to do something specific, but doesn't mean that it's more legible. It depending your environment, depending what you're doing, depending who is involved. So it just shows different aspects. And we can convert that to one line like this. Keeping the spaces. The indentation helps to understanding what it does. And just to keep it like that. If we do this, we send the same three numbers with max, it's going to do exactly same thing. But I will do something extra. In your books, I believe it's going to be, let me check the section. Actually, I don't have it right now. Well, we can simplify it. But something just returning something really easy, as did, is when you need to do the cubes. I don't remember what is the section with talking about the cubes, but you can actually specify. It is section 715. So 715, when we have a method just returning something really simple, we can remove this curly braces. We can remove the return statement and put a fat arrow. That means that this function is going to be executed like this and just give us a bunch and returning whatever this have. It looks crazier, I know how it looks like, but if we execute and we select the max number, so we say 1, 5, 9, the three of them is 9, because of the same logic. And this is important thing. I went from the basic statement to a little more complex to a lot more complex, but one-liner. Sometimes when you're a programmer or you're a developer, you like to do things in one line in order to save execution of code. So C# is that versatile that can help you to achieve this over one line of code, and that is amazing. And I want to show you that. And I believe that section is actually done. We have different values and different spectrum. Oh well. Let's say that we have only two numbers. You can specify also something like this. That what does mean? If we get max, we only two variables and we didn't specify the third one, that means, so we're getting the three numbers, but it's gonna give you only two. Why? Because we just send in the first and the second, and you just get the maximum number of the first and the second. And by default, the third one is a 0. So you can specify default values when you want to call a function with less arguments or values that they actually require. And we're doing that right now. We are specifying a function and call it with less values. In this case, we will not need it. We just want to explain it, what it is and how it works. So let's leave it like that. So we have the first part done. That's pretty cool. We went to call a method, went to see the call stack, how one function goes to another, goes to another, goes to another. We actually have how we simplified a method with the if statement and the one line return statement with the fat arrow. The fat arrow is an equal greater than symbol that is all together. That means that you will return exactly that line. By the way, in JavaScript is pretty much the same, the fat arrow. You're not going to see JavaScript, I just want to mention that. And this is pretty cool. So let's have a little more complex, because I like complexity, just kidding. Let's give another section. So let's increase our menu to 2. And let's do play, paper, scissors, rock. Let's do a mini game in our menu. And let's use enumeration for that. to understanding what it does. Okay, so enumeration, what it is a way to have like a hard-coded, or not hard-coded, strong typed is actually the term, or specific term of value giving a specific number value or not. Could be have a value by itself or could have not that value. So let's actually implement that. So before the main statement, after program is really important. We can have a private, that means that it's only be useful in this class, enumeration, and we call that selection. And as you see, this code is a little bit similar with the dice game that the book have, but I wanted to simplify a little bit in order to have for the papers scissors rock game. So we can specify a paper, and let's give you the value of 1, comma, it's not semicolon, it's just a comma. We have the scissors, and let's specify the value of 2, and let's have a rock, and let's specify the value of 3. Cool. So we have our selection. It's selected paper, select scissors, select rock. Oh, before that, let's actually increase this, and let's do case 2 game. Whoa, there you go. And let's just break it just for fun. Okay, so let's call game. Let me minimize. Remember, because we add another, and it should be a 2, important. Increase the menu size, increase the menu option, and we can actually reduce this. We don't need the maximum anymore, we don't need the get maximum, get max num, and this is already simplified in one line. Perfect. So let's do the game, and let's put it at the end. So void static game. Perfect. Why I didn't like it? Oh, it's the other way. Static void game. Perfect. So if we choose 1 in the menu, we're going to go to the maximum. If not, we're going to do the case. Now, I put this logic outside the main menu. You can actually put this logic inside. It makes a little more sense. But I did it like that just to pass a value from this to here and just to switch it over there. Just to understand it a little bit. That's why. Remember, we did the enumeration and we will see how this actually works, and it's pretty cool. And we will explore with a little more modern C#, not with the complete C# that the book have. So we can actually console dot write line. Let's jump a line and put welcome to paper scissors rock game. Please choose let's do it like that. Then we do paper, let's give it number 1, scissors, give it number 2, and rock, let's give it number 3. I just print it like that because they're the same values that we put in the enumeration paper, scissors, rock. Let's jump at a couple, just one. Please choose your weapon. Let's leave it like that. Okay, and then we do integer user equal integer parse console readline. Let's not do validation just to simplify things. I just want to show you what is the concept there. So we send that, and the user select something specific, and we're going to switch over what the user selected. But you will be playing against the computer. So to play against the computer, we need to select something for the computer, and we need to talk about random numbers. Those are also in this book, in this chapter. So in order to create a random number, we actually need to how can I say it? We need to declare it. Let's simplify that. Let's just declare it what we need to have. So we declare it a type random. Random number. So we will declare a random number variable that is a random number equal a new random. So random, as you can see, is a class, and we initialize that inside the random number, and then we select that. The book tells us that the next, the random number, it should actually give us an integer. We're going to be doing like that. So let's say in this case integer computer. From the user we get it from the console, or the computer is going to be random. It's going to be a random number dot next. We give it next, and we give you 1.4. That means it's going to select something random from 1 to 3. It's really important. When we do this, is going to be the lower number, and this is one before the one after the last number. So this will always generate a random number from 1 to 3. Only 1, 2, and 3, just before the 4. So we actually assign what is the user selected, and we assign something random from the computer. Now we need to do the validation, and this is the pretty cool part. Let's do an advanced switch case selection, and we'll be casting some information to our enumerate. It looks complex, but when you see it in action, it's going to be really simpler. Okay? So let's actually switch, and let's say the user. Let's do. So we want to switch what the user selected. Well, the user selected is an integer, and we know that's an integer 1 to 3. In order to match that to our enumerate select, we need to cast it. What does it mean casted? Casted is we tell to the computer, treat this input without changing his value. That's really important. Without changing anything, treat it as something else. So when we tell I'm casting, and to casting we put the type inside parentheses, and the user will say type my integer as a program selection. That is a specific method. So just cast it like that, so we'll know. So in this case, we can do something like this. Case is this select paper, do something, case select scissors, something else, case select rock, do something specific. So what it's going to be doing, let's do a console dot write line, and let's do string interpolation. You know what? Let me just comment this out to explain a little bit more the casing, the casting. So let's console dot write line. In order to understanding, let's keep the switch apart, so just a little bit to see it. With user selected, And let's cast it over here. Selection, user, computer, selected, computer. Okay. So remember, this is our integer. I'm going to be casting to the selection cell enumerate that we have on the top, and we give you the specific strong typing value that we need. So if we do it like that with the casting, let's execute. Let's play paper, scissors, rock. So I will choose scissors as my weapon. So user select the scissors. I put the 2 in there. That's good. And randomly the computer select paper. So I will want this match. Pretty cool. So it's a really quick way to match a value to something. So you can actually have, if user equal 1, then print paper. If user equals 2, then print scissors. So we are saving all that code in order to have an enumerate that will help us to do that matching for us, which is a simple casing. So we also need to write all that big if-else statement, because the casting method will help us to do that matching for us. If we execute again, let's select them, let's choose paper now. Both of those select paper. Let's do again. And let's choose paper again, and now the computer selected scissors. You can see the computers always have a random selection, and you can play around with those selections depending on the random number and the random casing that we are implementing here. So this is how casting actually works. Let's comment this out, and let's uncomment this. What I want to do is I want to show here this console dot write line user 1. Let's keep this like this. And let's break. And break. Perfect. So we need to do some kind of matching, and we need to start comparing something. The book doesn't have this section, but it's a modern way to have C# and to combine the validation from two different variables. What I want to do is just copy and paste this 3 times. User lose. Oh, well, let's do computer 1. And it's a tie. Boo. Okay. And right now I give you some errors to say, hey, you're making the same statement twice, so it doesn't work. What I'm doing is I'm putting 3 different scenarios. I want a scenario with the user 1, and a scenario with the computer 1, and a scenario when it's a tie. So we can actually have the when statement, and the when statement is pretty cool. So we can say select, in case the user select paper when, and we need to cast the computer selected, so we need to double quote rock. If the user select paper and the computer select rock, the user won. Right? We can actually say something similar here. If the user selects scissors, the computer needs to select paper to lose. If the user selects rock, and the computer needs to select scissors. So we just put the 3 different scenarios where the user won. Now let's do the 3 simple scenarios when the computer won. So I'm just copying this over and just change the last part. So if we need, this is not, it need to be a lose scenario. So paper is lose to scissors. scissors loose to rock, we're okay with that. And rock loose to paper. Perfect. The tie is really simple, it's when both of them choose exactly the same. Perfect. So we see this is the user and this is the computer. If the user select paper wins to rock, yes. Scissors win to paper, yes. Rock wins to scissors, yes. So that means the user won. When paper lose to scissors, yes. Scissors lose to rock, yes. And rock lose to paper, yes. That means that the computer won. And paper, scissors with scissors, and rock with rock, that means that it's a tie. And let's execute this. Let's play it, let's choose my scissors, and the computer selects scissors, is a tie. Boo! Let's execute again. So, let's scissors again. Oh, it's another tie. Let's select scissors. Wow, we are choosing the same thing over and over. Okay. User 1, I select scissor, and the computer selected paper. That's it. It looked like I was hitting a random number several times. Let's continue just running, just to test it. Let me select my scissor again. It's a tie. Select my scissor again. Computer 1 because the computer selected the rock. So you can see the dynamic here. How it's actually working and how it's actually doing it. So we keep everything in one file to simplify, not to have several files in there, how to call one file to another. But we have different methods, and how one method can call the other methods, and we also specify a menu in there, and some kind of simple validation with the menu. We introduce a lot of concepts. We introduce enumeration, method, calls tracing, the casing for different methods depending on the menu selections. We introduce constants. We introduce simplifying different methods depending on the case of what you actually want to do. And we specify the when statement inside a switch with the casting for enumeration. And I believe we have everything that we need to learn and to know for the chapter number 7. Please do this video lab and deliver it. And that's it. Happy coding, everybody. See you in the next video.